Rehousing and prevention is how it works. Rapid rehousing, following what's called the Housing First model. That's kind of the key right there. Housing First started in California, 99 or 2000.
Okay.
The whole idea behind that is exactly what it sounds like. Let's take the homeless and get them housed and then bring services to them when they're housed, as opposed to trying to bring services to them when they're not. Housing First. That definition has changed quite a bit over the years. We still stick to that. So this government contract enables us to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and possibly a shallow subsidy if needed. Shallow subsidy meaning, I can pay part of your rent for a couple of months. It can pay utility arrears. It can pay moving costs. The big reason, and I don't mind going on record saying this, the big reason a lot of agencies don't accept this contract is there is $0 to pay the staff. There's a 0.5% of it that pays administration, and that's for doing the paperwork, writing the checks. 0 for the staff. So, Our Father's House got this version of the contract. It's ESG, Emergency Solutions Grant. We've got some, acronym portion of it for 10 years now, but when we first started getting this one, we started with $30,000. At the end, towards the end of the contract, the Worcester COC would say to us, there's $10,000 left in someone else's contract, can you spend it? And they give it to us. Our Father's House has always spent 125% of the contract.
Oh, because they're giving you
They're
other
giving me
people's
more.
contract.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we've always spent 100% plus.
Okay.
Now, not being able to pay the staff is tough. So we've just said, okay, if we can have the street outreach case manager do it, if we can have the shelter manager do part of it, that's the circle. So if someone's homeless and I meet them outside, I then help them get into an apartment. If they don't stay in that apartment, then they end up on the street again. Or they end up in the shelter in front of either me or... So we wrap it into our other positions because it's amazing to get that money. That's having come up with $2,000 to move into a place for people that are on Social Security. It's near impossible. The reason I put it online today, I've never put it online, is because the contract is for a year. I typically have 12 months to spend the money. This year I have 4 months. Money just got freed up last week. So I have 4 months to spend, let's just say, more than 50,000. It's actually 72, but I don't really want to say that.
Okay. So you have over $50,000 available to help folks get into housing right now. Okay.
So, why this part is important is this is the definition of homelessness, according to the funder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reality.
So tell me, how does one take advantage of this?
Right. So we can help people exiting a shelter. We can help people that are living outside. We can help people, according to HUD's definition, that are at risk of losing their primary residence within 14 days. Could be for any eviction process. We can help people fleeing domestic violence. And the contract also helps families. Our contract doesn't have, there's another agency in Worcester that does the families. So we help the individuals.
Okay. So it can be folks facing eviction as well? Okay.
And have already started in the court process.
I see.
So that's the prevention part of it. I can pay a one-time up to 6-month arrears for rent, but it can't be a Band-Aid. It has to be the solution, emergency solution grant. Someone hasn't paid rent in 6 months. If I pay the landlord that back 6 months, they have to be able to continue to pay their rent. It can't be that caught you up and then in 6 months we're going to be at that same situation again. So there has to be stability.
Mm-hmm.
Someone exits the shelter. Someone's staying in the shelter. Their job, first of all, they have to have income to be able to afford the apartment. Their job is to find the apartment, get approved for it, And when the landlord says you need $2,200 to move in, that's when I get involved, and I check the apartment, make sure it's up to code, make sure that the person renting it to him has the legal right to rent it to him, and I cut the check directly to the landlord.
Okay, so it's almost, so basically this contract awards funds for, first, last security, but then anybody who's gonna take advantage of the program has to be able to prove that they can stay current on rent.
Right.
Okay.
So we provide additional, we check in with them every month for 6 months just to make sure they're still, we work with budgeting with them. We actually try to get them into a budgeting program 30 days ahead of time, just so we can find out how you got in this situation. Why are you at the point that you're living outside in a tent? Found somebody outside the other day, they're taking in $2,200 a month. Most of it goes to scratch tickets because they are going to win. We talk about things like that. That's an addiction. There's Mock offers a nice budgeting program. We can send people to that. It's not if I found someone outside today, their house tomorrow. So it can be a week, it can be a month, it can be 3 months. One of the biggest issues right now also is affordable housing. But I do have good relationship with about 35 landlords in this area that have participated in this program with us. They like working with our Father's House because it's almost like another added layer of security, or knowing that we're going to be checking up on them. They're not going to wreck the place. They won't hopefully have to evict them.
Okay, so does the program deal with help folks find apartments, or do they have to find the apartments on their own?
They have to find the apartment on their own, and that's only because there's no money for the staffing, and I can't be searching. I can give them recommendations. Craigslist, of course, any kind of apartment search. A lot of realtors have apartments. Another way, people still use bulletin boards. Go to the library, go to the grocery store. There's a bulletin board, and the people that don't want to put an ad online have put an ad on the grocery store. Pull off this number talk to family and friends. As long as someone can write you a lease, and it's a legal place to rent, I can help.
Okay.
There's a lot of safeguards in place to make sure no one abuses it.